What is an option period? If you're a first-time home buyer, if you've never bought a house before, if it's been a while since you've been a part of this process and you're looking to sell or buy another home, this is going to be worth your time. So what is an option period? Here in Texas, an option period is a set number of days negotiated between a buyer and a seller, which allows a buyer to terminate the contract for any reason within a set period of time. This option to terminate is obtained by a mutual agreement between the buyer and the seller on a negotiated fee. The amount of this fee is negotiable, and an experienced real estate agent in your area will be able to give you some good advice and opinions as to what you might offer for that fee. And if you're the seller, a good agent will be able to tell you what you should expect to be paid for that fee. So the language related to the option period can be found in TREC Form 20-17, page 2, section 5B. Is an option period mandatory? And the simple answer is no, it's not mandatory at all. There's no one saying this has to happen. A seller does not have to accept an option period, and a buyer does not have to pay or request an option period. But we have never negotiated a contract where we've advised our client not to have an option period, and I'll explain why. The option period is typically when you have your home inspection and anything else that needs to take place during that time. Sometimes a home inspector will say, hey, you really got to have that roof checked out, or we should really get a foundation company to look at this, or whatever it is. Maybe you need to get bids or to do just a little bit more research, or you need time to think. That's what the option period is for. Okay, so we're talking about an option period and option fees. Now, how is that paid? Who takes care of this? Well, the buyer pays the fee. The buyer is the one buying the option to terminate. Whether it's 1 day or 3 days or 7 days, whatever it is, that's what you're paying for. So page 2 of the contract, section 5A, lays out exactly how the option fee is paid. In most circumstances, it'll just be a single payment that combines the option fee along with the earnest money. You'll pay that to the title company and they will hold it all the way through closing. Another thing in section 5A in part 1 is it gives the buyer 3 days to pay that fee. If you don't pay that fee, you don't have an option. You just lost your out in the contract. So 3 business days. A business day is generally considered to end around 5 p.m. of that day. That's the end of business. And don't worry, special consideration is given in the contract to things like weekends and big holidays. So if your 3 days is supposed to end, but man, it's a Sunday, well, it's going to be Monday. You get an extra day. Or if it's Christmas, well, it's not going to be Christmas. It'll be the day afterwards. And those exceptions are listed in section 5A, part 2. All of this is on page 2 of the contract. And here's a big question. What happens to that money? If the contract's terminated, then what? Well, if the buyer terminates the contract, it's their right. That money will go straight to the seller. That's their money. However much it is, that goes to them, and the title company, by contract, is released from any liability, and they will give that to the seller. If the contract isn't terminated, then it's just considered part of the buyer's contribution at closing. So hopefully that answers the question, what is an option period here in the state of Texas?